Alright, so what I'm going to do right now is to put all those techniques together and combine the linear adjustments with the microzone adjustments, and then add some toning as well. So for example, if you look at this image and I want to lighten up the water, and I'm going to use the for that I would use the advanced smart linear adjustment instead of the microzone adjustments, simply because that's the easiest way to go and there are no details at all over here in the water. So in that case, for example, like bodies of water, skies, stuff like that don't have a lot of detail but that you just want to darken or to lighten for the matter, I would recommend using the smart linear adjustments. So if you look at the water and suppose that I want to lighten, I just grab the lasso tool and then make a rough quick selection, and always try to stay inside of the edges instead of outside of the edges, because that's the safest way to use this tool. So I've made a very rough target area with this with lasso tool, and now I'm just going to click on, let's go with the lighten plus. So what you see now, this is before and this is after I hit the lighten plus button from the smart linear adjustments. And if you look closely, and you will see that in the area where I made the rough selection, you don't see any strange transitions and it all looks very smooth. So I'm going to zoom in up to 66%. By the way, this is a 100 megapixel phase 1 image, so I don't need to zoom in at 100% or even more than that. If you look here, if you still remember that, I made a selection somewhere around this line, way inside of the edges. And as you can see, that it is a very smooth transition. So before, after, and if I move to the other side of the, I think it's a canal. Move to the other side of the canal, you'll see that it all looks good. A little bit more here, there, that way. This is before, after, before. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more now. Just look at those edges over there. You see before, sorry, this is after, this is before, and then once again after. It all looks very subtle and very smooth. So this is the power behind this this preset and behind the specific feature of the advanced adjustments. And this is something that I really like to use in my own workflow, because it gives me very quick, very instant and very smooth results. So now I've done that, so let's try to lighten up this specific section over there, the houses on the side. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, just a little bit more. So as you can see, this specific lower level of those houses that you see there, or I'm not sure if those are houses to live in, but it doesn't matter. But this lower section, this lower level, it contains a lot more details than the water. So if I want to lighten up this specific section, then I would not use the advanced adjustments feature, but then I would use the micro zone adjustments feature. So before I can do that, I have to take a few samples. So you can see that my info box is already on. So I'm going to take a few samples. So if I go with the mouse over this part, you see that it's something around 150, 154. This is 145. This is 158. So I guess it's safe to say that the average value would be somewhere around 150. I'm going to go to the drop down list now. I'm looking up L150, and that is in this area, zone 67, dark lights. It covers anything between 139 and 184, so I should be safe with this. So now I'm going to activate it. Okay, gives you this message that the zone has been activated, and once again the temporary luminosity files have been created. So don't forget to deactivate it once you're done with the adjustment, so you won't increase the file size unnecessarily. So now what I'm going to do is to make a very rough selection again of that specific part of the building. Again, I'm going to take my lasso tool or the quick selection tool, whatever you prefer, but I prefer to use the lasso tool. So I'm going to make a very rough selection. As you can see, it doesn't matter if I go over the edge now. You see that this is within the edge, but this is outside of the edge of my target area. Now I'm just going to subtle lighten. I always start with subtle, and then if it's not enough I can go with medium and even with strong, but most of the times it would suffice to use just subtle or medium. So the effect has been applied, so let's see what it was. So this is before. I'm going to zoom in now. So this is before, this is after. Before, after. I'm going to go that way now. And again, this is before and after. And look at how the adjustment has been applied only in this specific section within the target area. And then before and after. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see it even better. Before, after. Okay, I'm going to do the same for this part. So let me check if that's the same tonal area. If it's somewhere around 150, I can keep the zone activated and keep all the luminosity mask. I don't need to deactivate it first, so let me check that. And it is somewhere around 160, 64. This is 169. So I think the average is somewhere around 160, and that's still within the range of this zone 6-7. So I'm going to use this. I'm not going to deactivate it, but just going to start right away with the selection. Again, very rough selection on the lasso tool, just like this. It's really rough. Okay, a very approximate selection. And then just click. And for this part, I'm going to go with medium lighten. Alright, so let's see what happened. This is before, this is after. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more now. Again, this is before, this is after. And see how subtle the effect was without affecting the other darker details in there. It looks very natural, and it saves you a lot of time. That's at least that's the case in my own black and white workflow, because I'm using this panel all the time right now instead of using my old and trusted black and white workflow that I've been teaching all over the world for, I think it's already 7 years by now, and it's a pretty successful workflow. But I think that by using this panel myself now, most of the time I can save quite a lot of time in post-processing, because the thing is I don't need to create any hard selections anymore, because I can suffice right now with the use of very rough selections and combined with the microzone adjustments.